Come on the journey with me. Let me just throw out a few sound bites of some of the things that affect relationships, marriages, partnerships. Doesn't mean we're going to cover all of these things, issues that arise in marriages, in partnerships. But let me just mention a few of them. And then you can consider, are there some sessions where you would like some extra, some individual input from me, whether for yourself as an individual or for you as a couple? So here's some things to take into account. Probably over 90% of the couples that come into my practice are actually in conflict and therefore seeking counseling, seeking therapy because of core emotional needs not being met. What are we talking about when we think about core emotional needs? It's things like the need to feel secure, respected, comfort, support, affection, respect. They are called core emotional needs. And over time, those needs get depleted. They're not being met. But they're not being met in various systems within which we interact. And I will include some graphical information. I don't mean explicit, I mean some pictorial images that explains what I mean by the different systems in which we interact, the wider family context, the work situation, any clubs or gyms that we are a part of, and the people we interact with in those different systems. All of those places play a part in topping up or taking out of our core emotional needs. It's not just a partner that is responsible for meeting those needs, but over consistently long periods of time, we don't realize that those core emotional needs have got depleted, haven't been topped up, and so we will revert into some activity in order to get those core emotional needs met. And such things like we don't realize we've actually started to fight with the other person, or we might flight, move away from, or we might freeze, just get on with life. Often call that the stiff British upper lip. We just get on. Some other sound bites. As you look at doing this online course, don't forget there will be a workbook, and you can have any individual sessions with me at any point. I'm certainly going to encourage you, once you've covered maybe 3 or 4 of the different programs, that you consider booking in a homework session with me so we can review the stage that you have reached in the online video on demand recovery for your marriage, for your partnership, relationship. I ask you to think about, commit to fulfilling, commit to covering the whole of the program. And during that time, don't make any major bridge burning decisions. Whether I will leave, whether I will stay. Just keep the status quo as it is for a period of time. Because what I'd like to do is provide you with good insight and understanding about you, so that When you gain greater insight and understanding, you can then make a better, more informed decision about what you'd like to do into your future. And so therapy is so much about moving as much from the unconscious into the conscious. I talk about moving stuff from the unseen to the seen, making it visible. You could even think about painting the elephant in the room and making it visible, so that when things are now visible in the conscious, you now get a chance to do something about them, to affect them. But here's my cliche. What you can't see, you've got no hope of doing anything about. But what you can begin to see, because you've moved it from the unconscious into the conscious, you now get a chance to affect it, to change it. But bear in mind, just because you can now see it, you now understand it, we've used what I call a highlighter pen to highlight the problem, so you can now better see the problem. You can now go after it, and it can never be the same again, because you can better see it, understand something you couldn't understand, you couldn't see. Now you get a chance to go after it. Now I'm going to read you a poem later on about potholes. And when you remind yourself the content of that poem, hopefully you'll remember that just because you can see the problem does not mean you can immediately change the problem. Why? Because by doing repeated patterns of behavior over quite a long period of time, they become habits, they become templates, they become neural pathways. Neural pathways are not easy to change quickly or overnight. They are patterns of behaviors that are quite entrenched. When I feel, when I experience a particular emotion, this is what my brain says to go and do. And so change begins because you can see a problem. But change is not fully complete at that point. The fact is, change has begun because you can see a problem. It can never be the same again. And I want to equip you with some tools to help you on your journey.
Send me a message. It's time to get your relationship back onto a better footing for your future. Let's do some work without shame and bring colour back to life. Send the email, send the message to me, Gary McFarlane, at the Kairos Centre, and let's begin to reclaim your quality of life.